The unsurrounded secret. Yes, he brings the mystery. It's on me. Sometimes it's hard to move your feet.
Hello. So my name is Starry Walker.
And I am Tania Russell, and welcome back to Bay Talks.
Black and Educated Talks. Hashtag Japanese Identity.
Yes.
So before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Erica Badu for those wonderful words. That song was called Me, and she's basically talking about coming into her identity and how it really doesn't matter what the world around her thinks about that. She's making her own decisions because she has that agency. So I want to share this quote. So here you are, too foreign for home, too foreign for here, never enough for both. Diaspora blues. Because we're about to start talking about the domestic foreigner within Japan, which is Hafu, half Japanese, half any other ethnic group, multiracial, and we want to discuss how they're treated. So first, before we do that, I want to introduce Ariana Miyamoto. She is the first Hafu Miss Universe Japan, and she won that competition in 2015. And this is Priyanka, who is the second Hafu Miss Japan, Miss Universe Japan, and she won in 2016. So two Hafu beauty queens back to back. And so that's important to bring up because this is how I was first introduced to this topic within the media. It kind of like went viral when Ariana won. And she was all over the place about how does this mean Japan's racist because they won't accept her because is it because she's brown? Is it because she's not fully Japanese? Okay, whatever the dialogue is. And so now I would like to give it up to Tania to speak about Helm's theory and how it relates to the Hafu category.
Thank you. So going back to that original video that we did, it is important to remember that Japan is focusing its identity on homogeneity and being the same within and also the same outside. So, what does it mean for people who are half foreign and half Japanese who openly defy these things or this sameness just by existing? So, let's revisit this identity theory called Helm's theory. So, these instances of Hafu beauty queens puts us in an interesting point within the dialogue because you'll see with pseudo independence the address of social issues and immersion. What does it mean to be Japanese and autonomy? Knowledge about race and diversity. So let's start with pseudo independence, the address of social issues. So obviously, when Ariana became the first Hafu beauty queen, the Japanese audience and Japanese folks had a lot to say about that. Um,
Particularly the older Japanese people.
yeah,
Because from my understanding, through looking at news reports and different things done about this topic, is that the younger people were kind of like, okay, like she's Japanese, she was born and raised here, she speaks Japanese fluently.
yeah, but I would push back on saying that they were kind of chill. It was kind of like colorblind show, which goes back to like the initial, yeah, it was going back to the initial contact issue because they're like, I have a quote. It says like, oh, it doesn't matter. She represents Japanese. It doesn't matter if she's Japanese. But I'm pretty sure that the her African American history and identity shaped who she is, and I'm pretty sure that matters to her, which is why she does like the philanthropy work that she does, especially with people dealing with mental health issues and people who are also in the same situation as she is. So yeah, so like there's this borderline like old people are like what Like old people are just openly
more
like
conservative.
Yeah, more
than the younger generation.
Yeah, and the younger generation are trying to be okay with it, but they don't really know
They're not
how.
informed about it.
Yeah.
Well, to a certain extent, there's like a lack of information. Like, I understand that.
So is that pseudo independence? That's like a question. Or is it immersion? Like, does this mean that she's Japanese? I personally, after doing some research, I think not. And so we interviewed Joy Lees. Am I saying her last name properly? Yeah. Okay, fine. Joy, who is half American, white, Caucasian, and half Japanese. Yeah. So we're gonna play a short clip.
It's like a love and hate thing for them because they admire how I look and like, oh, my eyes are bigger, oh, your skin is whiter, oh, like you have a taller nose, you're not flat faced, or like you have higher cheekbones, but they will never accept me as a Japanese, like a fully Japanese person, although I was born and raised there for 18 years of my life.
And there you have it, like from first what do you think when you hear something like that?
What do I think of when Joy said? I think that it's pretty similar to the diasporic experience of African Americans, to a certain extent, but it's also different because she's like literally speaks fluent Japanese. Like she's been immersed in the culture. Like that's her culture. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like she's an outsider as far as like knowing how things are done. But then Joy goes on to talk about how there is a person that is Japanese that like completely looks Japanese, but was raised outside of the country. Well, but he is Hafu, but he was raised outside of the country. But they don't call him Hafu. They're just like, oh, you're just a foreigner, like a Westerner, like it's yeah, and it's because he doesn't speak the language as well, or whatever the case may be. So it's just too many layers to that for me. The fact that you literally just you have to look Japanese, act Japanese, and speak Japanese. There's nothing outside of that.
Yeah, and the balance seems to be off. Like it's not 50-50 look Japanese and be Japanese in culture plus language. It's like looking Japanese is a huge part because in the interview she goes on to say that someone who appears to be more Japanese than she is, even if they don't speak as fluent, they are seen and more accepted as Japanese.
Yeah, and I also read an article about how it was a European immigrant, or the family had, so he had been there for a generation, born in Japan, but he spoke Japanese fluently and was basically like he got on the bus or something, got on some kind of public transportation, and the person that was driving the bus looked at him like, oh, like you know nothing. But when he started speaking Japanese, and he kind of is accepted. But then a person that looks Japanese gets on the same bus like a few minutes later and cannot speak Japanese, and the bus driver is angry. Like, what are you doing? Why don't you know Japanese? And I was just like, whoa, what is this?
People who identify as Latinx, almost like if you can't speak Spanish.
Yeah, then you're automatically on the outside, or you're automatically like kind of like a disgrace almost, because it's like there's shame with that. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about that. I don't know if that's not where we want to stop, but
yeah, definitely no. But I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, because I'm gonna let you move on, but Dr. Bullock's son was in New York, and people kept thinking that he was Puerto Rican, and would get so angry about him not being able to speak Spanish. And so it's kind of like a similar thing, but yeah, move on.
Yeah, so definitely I would say that, at least according to Helm's theory, people are not seen as Hafu, people are not seen as Japanese, and they're not accepted as Japanese. So I would say that right now in the formation of Japanese identity, they're not quite at the point of autonomy. Like, it's one thing to have a Black or half black, half foreign Miss Japan, but that does not mean that you are accepting like as a whole nation. Like we have Obama in office, that doesn't mean that we're any more or less prejudiced as we were before he was elected.
Yeah, that's very true. And I feel like also we need to look at, I believe that pageant was held in Tokyo, and at least the second one was. But that plays a part in it, right? Because Tokyo is kind of a little more diverse than, let's say, the country in terms of how they deal with people that are different. So I feel like that's like an important point to make that that was definitely the exception. But also, after talking to Joy, I feel like there are several famous Hafu artists and also models, famous Hafu models that are most of them are half European or have more European looks. So I definitely think that Ariana was the exception because
because of her darker skin.
Yeah, because of her African ancestry. But not saying that they're whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. So there is the ideal Hafu.
I think so.
Yeah, there definitely is the ideal Hafu. But yeah, like it's like the way I view it, it's like you can have more privileges and that can be seen as a good thing. But at the end of the day, that doesn't gain you access. At the end of the day, like I watched a few documentaries. If a sign said no gaijin and no Hafu, gaijin is foreigner, it doesn't matter if you're half African, half Nigerian, or half white. You will not be allowed into those facilities. And so that's an interesting dynamic. In other nations, you don't see that. Like in South Africa, even though they have a large multiracial population, they have their own race group. They're not seen as foreign. They're very much a part of the culture. Are they oppressed? Yes. Are they discriminated against? Yes. But one thing that they are not is foreign. And I think that's something that is definitely unique to Japan.
But maybe they feel foreign sometimes. I know, being in the United States, I definitely identify with the diaspora blues. Just not being connected directly to Africa by a family member or a tradition. And of course, there are historical reasons why, but then also being here and just being like, oh, I don't really belong. Like, I don't feel like this is but not when I'm in my own community, but when I go out into like, I don't know, the dominant society. It's kind of like this idea that I am a foreigner, because I can speak as much as I want to about how African I am, but an African is not going to see me that way. I can speak as much as I want to about how American I am, but at the end of the day, when we hear the term American, most people think of the white dominant society. So I still feel, so my point, my point from saying that is that even though there might be acceptance in South Africa, I still do think that there might be kind of like this not belonging because of certain conditions, like this feeling of, is this really home? And I don't know, I've never been to South Africa. I'm just saying about how, I mean, America, what other home do I know? But I still don't feel that way if I turn on the news or that representation in the media. I feel like an outsider, but my family's been here for 6 generations.
But at the end of the day, like, you're not excluded in current day, in modern America, you're not excluded from census.
Yeah.
Your presence is not denied. It might not be always appreciated, but it's not like denied. And I think
it's not denied,
there's something to say about that.
That is true. It's not denied, but it's also like used like for like you will sometimes pick that presence of checking this box. Means that something's about to go down in that area. But you're right. So yeah, Hafu. Joy talks about how her father is only included on the census under her mother, her Japanese mother. Her European father has like a foreigner card and is president of Japan, but does not have his own census card. And I think that's what you're talking about. But I digress.
Okay. Well, that's it for this one.
That's it for this
Yeah.
one. I don't know. Let me see.
Well,
That
the
was-
time says it's
Oh, the
almost
time
15
says.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good talk about about that different aspect of the baby. So we will see you next episode, our final episode.